guys, welcome to a new weekly vlog. Today is Monday, January 22nd. It is the third week, actually I think it's the fourth week of January now. I did not upload a vlog last week. The vlog that went up this morning was from the previous week. If you've been watching lately, you know that my husband was in the hospital from January 5th through January 16th. So that obviously took up like a big chunk of our month. Kind of threw off the beginning of the year for us, threw us off our routines and all things. But like I said, today is the 22nd. We are now home, getting back into our routine. He is back at work. I am back at work. So yeah, we're getting back into the swing of things. I want to kind of hit the ground running and start this week the way I had wanted to start the year. So, the first thing I did this morning when I got up was go and make myself some coffee. I did a reset yesterday. I did a little reel of it. I'm actually going to put it up as a story, so it should be up as a story now. I did some meal prep. I cleaned up my office, got my planner all set up, did some journaling, all things. So I feel like I'm pretty well set to go. I wanted to go for a walk this morning. Oh, it's here. I wanted to go for a walk this morning. Well, obviously once the sun comes up. We'll see if that actually ends up happening or not. It's supposed to rain today, which is awesome. It was very cloudy and rainy yesterday, so I'm hoping that will continue today. They said it should be later on in like around 9. So I'm hoping to go for a walk around 6 when the sun comes up. So we'll see. We might get like a little cloudy, rainy B-roll moment here in a little bit. But the first thing I want to do this morning that I really want to get into the habit of and get a routine going is to start my Monday morning with my Bible study. So I have my Bible here. I have the pens that I like to use. I have my coffee, like I said, and I found a new YouTube channel that does Bible studies every day that I was using while Nick was in the hospital that I really liked. So I'm going to continue that. So yeah, I'm going to do that. That's going to be the first thing I'm going to do this morning. And then I'll bring you guys on a little walk with me.
And Mount Zion for now, and the sanctuary, and to attend the sons of Aaron, their brothers, for the service of the house of the Lord. So there it is. They want to keep charge of them and make sure that they are also in check. And of course, if any of this is feeling
So as you guys saw, I went and took a walk with my puppy. This is a new habit I would like to implement, something that I'd like to do a few times a week. So I started the day off with that, and now as you can see, I am sitting at my desk. I reset my Kanban board, which I have behind my iPad, and now I'm going to get to work on my VA stuff for the morning before I start my 9-to-5 job here in about 20 minutes. I am going to check my text messages because I did see that my client text messaged me about a project that he has for me today, and then he has also he texted me to follow up and see how my husband is doing, who was recently in the hospital, so I'm answering that. Then I'm going to go through and double check that the posts that I had scheduled for this morning did go through. I'm going to make sure that I share them to stories and share them on all of the necessary accounts. Okay, so I did get the graphic for this client highlight done, so I'm gonna go ahead and download it and get it scheduled in our social media app where we schedule everything. Okay, so I was able to get Wednesday's post all written up and scheduled. That is good to go, so I don't have to worry about it on Wednesday now. The only thing I'll have to do on Wednesday is go through and basically the same thing I did this morning, just make sure that everything posted on time, share into stories, and market the post, all that kind of stuff. So that is done. And then for Friday, I'm actually not going to schedule in here. I'm going to go ahead and create a reel, so that is going to be the next thing that I work on. So one of the aspects of being a part-time virtual assistant is that I also have a full-time 9-to-5 job. So today is Monday. I start at 8 o'clock. It's now 8:05. So I've clocked in. I got my calendar open to double check and make sure that I don't have any meetings or anything today, which I do not. Something else I need to do for my VA is look at my emails, but I will do that in a minute. So I'm going to go ahead and usually I will start my day for my regular 9-to-5 double checking emails, so that is what I'm going to do here. Okay, so I'm back from my walk. I started work. I'm going to feed Dobby real quick and then put my breakfast together real quick and then get to work on my 9-to-5 stuff. I already checked my emails, checked to make sure I didn't have any meetings or anything today. Got some of my VA stuff done. I am also filming a day in the life of a part-time virtual assistant, so a lot of that stuff is going to be in that daily vlog, so I won't talk about that as much here. But yeah, let's get my breakfast together. I did meal prep. I think I talked about that earlier. I don't remember if I did or not, but I did meal prep. So I'm going to have some hard-boiled eggs and a protein shake for breakfast. So I'm going to get that together and head back upstairs. guys, welcome back. So it's Wednesday now. It's about 2:30. I don't think I updated yesterday at all. Work's been pretty busy getting back into the rhythm of things with Nick being home. But I wanted to do a reading update since I didn't do one at the beginning of the week. That is something that I would like to get better about, is starting the vlog off with what I'm reading this week and then obviously showing you as I read those. So I currently have 12 books that I have started and I'm currently in the middle of, and I'm hoping to finish. I'm obviously not going to finish them all in January, but I'm hoping to finish here in the near future. So the first one is All the Sinners Bleed, and I will put the covers up here. All the Sinners Bleed by S.A. Cosby. This is kind of like a mystery thriller. It's about a sheriff in a small town. He has grown up in this small town, and this small town is very it's in the South, and they are very like divided and still very much like segregated. And this is a cop. He's African American, and he moved back home, I believe, after his mother died, and became sheriff. And he still gets a lot of like opposition from like the white people in town, and a lot of his fellow like African American people who live in the town don't trust him because they don't trust cops. And so he is trying to find a way to like balance. And then after there is a shooting in the schools, in the city's high school, and a beloved teacher is killed. All these things happen and are revealed that that teacher was actually like abducting, raping, and killing children, and it looks like there's like a sacrificial element to it. So that sheriff is trying to figure out what's going on, who these children are, other people involved, what's going on in this town. So I'm like 30% of the way through. So Gabby from Gabby Reads, I'll tag her below, is the one who recommended this book. I think she read it in one of her vlogs, and I think she said something along the lines of like, it ends up being that a lot more people in the town are involved or knew, and so we're like culpable. I don't know exactly where it's gonna go, but so far it's really good. I'm liking it. So yeah, that is the first book. The second book I'm reading is Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. This is only the second book I've ever read by Brandon Sanderson. I started to read, I don't even remember what it's called. One of his other series. I listened to the audiobook of it, and I think I got like 70% of the way through it. And I was actually liking it. I have a hard time with like super long like fantasy books, so that's why I've never picked up any of his books. I think he's fantasy, right, or sci-fi. I don't know. I've never picked up his books, but this one, when it came out, sounded really good. It sounded like it was something that I would like. So I did already start this one. I'm probably like 40% of the way through, and I'm really enjoying it. It's a fantasy about a girl who lives on an island with her parents, and she is friends with I believe he's like a lord's son or something, and nobody ever leaves this island except for this lord's like family. And whenever they leave, they always bring her back, I think it's like teacups or something, so she collects these teacups. And all of a sudden one day, the lord, the father, realizes that his son is a little bit too close to this girl who is like a common person. Her family is not wealthy, and so he doesn't like that, and so he decides to pick up and take his whole family off the island. And so they leave, and there's a rumor that the lord's son ends up, or is he a prince? I don't remember if he's the lord's son or a prince. It's been a while since I started it, and then it got taken back to the library, and I just got it back. That he had gotten married, and it had been like an arranged marriage, and then they had news that I think they got news that he had died, like his ship had gone down or something. But I believe the last thing I read was that he had like turned back up, or actually I think it's that she decides that she's gonna go on an adventure, and she's gonna leave the island in search of her best friend, in search of this boy that she loves. So I think it's gonna be really good. I love a like quest. I love a good adventure story, especially with characters who have been like sheltered their whole lives and don't know anything outside of their own like world, their own little bubble, and are exploring and discovering whole new worlds for the first time. I love that. So I'm excited to see where it's gonna go. So far I'm really liking it. Like I said, this book I'm reading is A Promised Land by Barack Obama. Listening to the audiobook of this one I think is going to take a while because the audiobook is like 24 hours long. It's a super long book, and I think he said at the beginning that this is actually part 1. I don't know if the audiobook is actually part 1 and part 2 together, and that's why it's so long. But I read Michelle Obama's autobiography 2 years ago, I think, and I really loved it. I love both Barack and Michelle Obama. And I want to say I read another book by Barack Obama too. I think he had another one before this one, and I read that one as well. I've just barely started it. I'm only like a few chapters in. It's basically talking about like his childhood, and briefly talks about, so I think the first book, if I remember correctly, was about like his own personal life, like growing up, meeting Michelle, all the things. And then this book is more focused on like his presidency and the things that he did during his presidency, the things he saw, the things he had to do, all those things. So I'm really excited to get further into it and see where it goes. I don't read a lot of like political books or books by politicians, but I love the Obamas, and like I said, and I love anything they have to say. I think they're just the best people. So yeah, listening to that. Then, being the history nerd that I am, I'm very excited to be reading The Templar Legacy by Steve Berry. This, I think, is an older book. It's kind of basically in the same vein as like a Dan Brown book, like The Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons, and like all those types of books. I love anything having to do with history. I love like the Knights Templar, that kind of thing. Reminds me of like National Treasure, kind of, which is one of my favorite movies. I'm 60% into this now, and basically the whole thing is like a quest for the Knights Templar treasure. The main character in this, they're a main male and female character. Cotton Malone is a is it CIA or FBI agent, I think, like retired, and he gets dragged into this whole quest with the Knights Templar. And then the female main character is Stephanie, I forget her last name. She is like the head of the CIA or whatever agency it is, and her husband was seeking this treasure, and he has since died, and she kind of got dragged into all this, and through her, Malone, the other agent, like her subordinate, got dragged into it as well. And they don't realize that, they're starting now to realize, but at the beginning of the book they don't realize that they're like after this Knights Templar's treasure. And the whole thing is set mainly in France, and so I love all of the descriptions of the different areas and all of the history, and just hearing a lot of like the French language and the different places within France. I love everything about these kinds of books, so I'm really enjoying this one. The next book is Lady of Darkness by Melissa Roerich. I don't know if that's how you say that, her last name. This is one that was recommended by Ashley from a Frolic Through Fiction. She has a YouTube channel and a gorgeous Instagram. I'm obsessed with her whole Instagram feed. But I will link her down below as well. She has been like shouting out this book from the mountaintops and loves this whole series, and so I decided to give it a try. I think this is about fae. It might be about vampires as well. I'm not 100% sure exactly what it's about, but I'm like 5 chapters in maybe. This is about a woman who is I don't know if they're assassins. It seems like they're in like an assassin's guild type thing, and I think she's been like, she either ran away or was banished from the like the fae world, and she is trying to find out. She's trying to find out who killed her mother, or not who killed her mother, but like who put the hit out on her mother, basically. So I'm at the very beginning. I don't really know much. It doesn't really give you any like backstory. It just kind of dives right in. So I'm excited to see where it's gonna go. I haven't read a good like fae story in a while, so I'm excited for it, this one. The next book is Our Violent Ends by Chloe Gong. This is the sequel to Our Violent Delights. I read the physical copy of Our Violent Delights that I have. It's actually behind me somewhere here. I think it's over here, like right here. I don't have Our Violet Ends, so I'm listening to the audiobook of it from the library. I just started it. I'm only like a chapter in, but I really enjoyed the first book. If you saw my 5-star reads of 2023, Our Violent Delights was actually on that list. It was one of my favorite books of last year, one of my most like highly rated books of last year. I really enjoyed the like fantastical elements, the like sci-fi kind of elements. I liked the like references to Shakespeare and the way it was done kind of subtly. So the first book really set up like the background and its own like mystery, and now I'm excited to see where it's gonna go moving forward. Can't really say much because it's a sequel. I don't want to give away anything from the first book. But yeah, I really enjoyed the first book and I'm excited to dive into the second one. The next book I'm reading is Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. This is the last book in the Throne of Glass series. I have put off reading this book for months. My coworker and I did a buddy read of the last like 3 or 4 books in the Throne of Glass series, and she finished Kingdom of Ash way before me. Or she finished it right before I had even started it. It took me months to pick this up. I don't know if it was just like the fact that this is the last book in the series and I don't want it to be over, or if I'm just like unsure of where it's gonna go. I don't know, but finally I picked it up and now I'm like 80% through the book. So far I'm really enjoying it. The first half of the book was kind of about one specific thing and like a rescue of something, and then now that is done and now we're on kind of the second half of the book and the culmination of everything that has been happening. So I'm interested to see where it's gonna go. I really hope that none of our characters are going to die. Much like Akihar, a lot of these characters are starting to like pair off and there are a lot of different couples happening, and I'm hoping that nobody's gonna die. So yeah, we'll see how that ends. I will definitely keep you guys updated as I finish that one. The next book is going to be Iron Flame, the sequel to Fourth Wing. I am like 30 or 40% into this. I have heard a lot of people saying that the end of this book like broke them. People on TikTok, I've been trying to avoid spoilers, but people on TikTok like sobbing, saying that they just finished the book. So I've been trying to avoid all of that so that I don't get spoiled. I'm trying to hurry up and finish it so that I can watch all of these different TikTokers and people talking about this book, because I'm curious to see what the heck's gonna happen. I have some theories, but again, because it's a sequel, I don't want to spoil the first book, although I'm sure like everybody's read the first book by now. So I'm gonna leave it at that, but yeah, we'll see how that ends up going. The next 2 books are 2 arcs that I've gotten from NetGalley. The first one is The House of Last Resort by, I think the author's name is Christopher Golden. I'll put the cover up here. I'm really, really enjoying this one. This one comes out on January 30th. This is a spooky, scary mystery kind of. It's about this couple who are offered like every once in a while you'll see on TV where they're offering like, or like on Facebook or something, where they're offering people like money to come move to this place to like revitalize the economy and stimulate and grow this town. And that's what this is. This couple is offered a chance to move to a small like village in Italy, in Sicily, and it turns out that this town is actually where the husband, the male main character, where his family is from. He visited there as a child. His grandparents, who is very close with, are from there and still live there. His father was born there, but when he was a kid, his father and his grandparents had a falling out, and all of a sudden they just broke apart and he never saw them again. And then his father died, and after his father died, his mother really like broke ties with everyone and never wanted him to go there again, basically. So there's the mystery of that, of like what caused the family to break apart. The mystery of like his father's death. I think there's gonna be something weird about that as well. So basically the offer is like, you get to come and move into a house in this village for whatever their money, like their currency is, I forget. It's very like a very low amount of money per month to move into this like abandoned house, basically. And there are several houses that they get to choose from, and this couple does this. They kind of uproot their lives, decide to go on this adventure. They both work like remotely, and they decide to move to this village because they have family there. The husband's family lives there. There's a chance for him to reconnect and kind of find out what happened. So they move into this house that is a very large house. It has like the main house that has been there for however many, like 100 years or something, and then there's like additions to the house. And they happen to find there's this like mysterious locked room element, but somehow the room keeps getting like mysteriously unlocked, and it leads to this like bedroom that they think is like a maid's quarter, but then behind the bedroom is like a little room that they're calling it chapel. So it's definitely spooky. there's a lot of like religious elements to it. A lot of it has to do center around like the priest of the town and like the Catholic faith and the churches in the town, and the couple is trying to use the catacombs beneath the church as like a tourist trap to bring people to the town to revitalize the economy. And I think it's gonna end up going like this house is either haunted or it's where they used to do exorcisms, something like that. So we'll see how far into the whole exorcism thing it gets, because anything having to do with exorcism or like possession terrifies me. I do not like anything having to do with that. Maybe it's my own Catholic like upbringing when I was a kid, but that kind of thing has always terrified me. So far it has kind of alluded to it, but it hasn't been like a main focus yet. So we'll see how far into that it gets. If it becomes too much, then I may have to DNF it and just rate it out based off of what I read. But so far it's definitely getting there. It's getting spooky, but it's to the point where I'm actually enjoying it. It's not like outright scary yet, so we'll see how far it goes into that. The second arc that I'm reading is called The City of Stardust by Georgia Summers. This is a portal fantasy, and I'm really enjoying this. I think it's going to be a standalone fantasy, and it is about this family called the Averys, who are like scientists, and every year for the last like 100 years or something, one of them goes missing. Maybe it's not every year, maybe it's every 10 years, I think. One of them goes missing and just kind of like disappears off the face of the earth, and nobody knows what happened to them. So the youngest Avery, I forget her name now, she has been living with her uncle, two uncles. Her mother disappeared like 10 years ago or something, and nobody knows where she is. And she finds out that there is this other like world, other realm, where this city called Pherelis, I think is what it's called. So the city is like in another dimension, but it's like on its own on a hilltop, and nobody really knows how it got there. And all the people who live within the city are like scholars and like people who are very much into like knowledge and learning and education and like the sciences, and they wield this like magic that manipulates metal, but the metal is actually like stardust. So there's a lot of different elements to it. Like I said, it is a portal. Like they have keys that open. It's almost like, I imagine it kind of like how like the Doctor Strange thing, where they do like the circle and like a circle opens and it's a portal into another world. I've been imagining it kind of like that, but they have a key that unlocks a door into this other realm. And so these scholars are able to kind of bounce back and forth between our world and Fidelis, I think is what that city's called. And so you have the main female character, who is the youngest Avery, and then the male main character is the assistant to this like evil woman. She's the villain of the story, and we don't get really much backstory on her. You just know that she is looking for the mom, the main female main character's mom, because she like stole something from her, and now she's threatening her daughter to try to like find her and get her back. So I'm really liking it. Like I said, I think it's going to be a standalone. I'm like 50% of the way through, so I'm excited to see where it's going to go. Then the next book I'm reading is ADHD and I think I talked about either in this vlog or in another vlog about how I have been like doing research into ADHD and looking to get like a formal diagnosis, because I believe that I have ADHD. And so I started to read some books, and this book is about being in a relationship as someone who has ADHD and is neurodivergent, and like how to navigate a relationship with someone who is not, and like the different ways that like my brain would process things and the way my brain works compared to how Nick's would work, not being neurodivergent. And so far, so much of the book has resonated with me. I've already highlighted like half the book. So much has resonated with me. So much of it makes sense, and I've gotten a lot of really good information out of it, so I'm really enjoying it. So if you are someone who has ADHD, or you think you might, or your spouse or significant other, it could even work for like just any relationship, a child, a friend, anybody. I think this book could definitely be used in any type of relationship. I'm really liking it, and like I said, I've really gotten a lot out of it already. Then the last book I'm reading is Wayward by Amelia Hart. I think I talked about this in another vlog. I've been reading this for a while. This follows 3 different women, 3 different generations of women within the same family. There's one, I forget her name, is set like back during like the Salem witch trials kind of time. She was accused of being a witch, and I believe she ends up being burned at the stake. I don't know yet. We're still following like her trial basically. And then the next person is like somewhere down her like bloodline, a girl who lives in this manor, and she has this like familiarity and this like passion for nature, and I believe she has magic and can kind of control it, but she doesn't know it yet. And she can speak to like animals or feel like the feelings of animals. They're like her familiars basically, but she hasn't really realized that yet. And then the third is it's further down this bloodline, this woman who left her abusive husband to come to the town where the first 2 women originally lived, and she's actually living in their cottage. And so she's kind of piecing together her family history and what the truth is of her family. But the rumors within this small village are that her family, her family members were witches, and so she's trying to piece together like the history and what exactly that means and what that means for her and all these things. So I really like that this book is very like woman centered and female like centric, and talks about just you get a clear picture of like the way women have been treated throughout these different parts of history, and how that has like a domino effect throughout time. So I'm really enjoying this one. I'm not sure where it's gonna go. There isn't really like a what do I want to say, like a destination in sight. It's not like a mystery where you're trying to figure out who killed this person, or you know, a romance where you're hoping, or you're gonna see if they end up together. I'm not really sure where this is going. I guess it's just gonna show you the end of the 2 women's journey, and then where the current woman ends up and what she finds out about her family. But yeah, I'm really liking it so far. My friend Carly read this one. She finished it last week, and she said she really loved the end. So I'm excited to see where it goes. So yeah, those are all the books I'm reading this week. I will let you guys know as I get further through all of these, and hopefully I will finish at least 1 or 2 more this week. I am a good way through most of these, so hopefully I can finish some of them. Other than that, I am basically just doing my 9-to-5 job. Made sure all my posts and everything went up this morning for my VA job. Have 2 new clients I think they're going to be starting here in February, so I'm excited about that. We are talking to our friends about what our Disney trip is going to be for this year. We're thinking maybe Disney World in April, and then I'm thinking maybe Nick and I may try to go to Aulani in Hawaii in December. Really, it's all going to depend on how much the bill ends up being from the hospital. I'm like dreading when we get one that arrives. But we did find out today that Nick is going to be getting a raise at some point, and also he has like his annual his work does annual bonuses, so we're gonna find out how much that is. We think that's gonna be at least a couple $1,000, so that'll be really good. So yeah, that is basically the update for today. I will check back in with you guys later. Morning guys, it is Friday now. I don't think I uploaded or updated yesterday. I forgot to. I really need to work on getting back in the swing of this, but my hair's a mess because I washed it last night and I need to straighten it and stuff today. I'm gonna try to curl it some point like early this morning because I need to I want to do like a bulk film day. I have a few videos that I can film, so I'm gonna try to get my hair done and stuff, so I can do that. I have my journals and stuff that I'm gonna work on this morning. I have my iPad. I need to answer some emails for my clients, do some reels and stuff. I'm gonna hang out and do that stuff before I get ready for work. So I will check back in with you guys later on.
When he started telling that story, it started making me think of Helen Troy, but then you started Godiva. I go, oh yeah, Lady Godiva, yeah.
Somebody was listening, right?
Of course. Of course. I love wisdom, and you have plenty of it, I guarantee you.